Hello, sports fans. We are ready for week number 2 in the league where they play. For pay! And let's get right to it. I had a very good week 1. Let's get right to the week 2 picks. Let's go out to Oakland, the black hole, where the Grim Reaper is hanging out, where Darth Vader's hanging out in the end zone, where that guy dressed up in the gorilla costume is always there week after week in Oakland. Let's go out to Oakland with the Oakland Raiders, a minus 13.5 against the New York Jets. Oakland had a very impressive week 1. They won their opener at Tennessee. I really like the way Oakland played on both sides of the ball. You know the offense is going to be cooking all year. With Carr healthy, the Oakland offense is tremendous. You add Lynch to this team, that offense is going to be tremendous. Defense played well. I was impressed with the Oakland defense. Tennessee scored a touchdown on their first possession. Really didn't get into the end zone the rest of the way. I was impressed with Oakland. I think Tennessee is a decent team. Oakland won by 10 on the road. Really nice start for the Raiders. Carr looks healthy. I think the Raiders are a Super Bowl contender for sure. Jets, well, what can we say about the Jets? I mean, they did play hard. They did try and hang in the game against Buffalo. They fell 21-12. The Jets just don't have enough firepower. They don't have anything. I mean, they don't have anything to work with. As far as this game, I think the Raiders are going to drop the big bag of goodies on the New York Jets. This has 45-17 written all over it. I think the Raiders lay it on the Jets. They can pick their score in this game. The Jets are out of their league here. It'll be all Raiders all day. Raiders roll 45-17. I'll give the 13.5. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2. Let's go out to Denver. This is one of the best games of the weekend with the Dallas Cowboys, a minus 2 against the Denver Broncos. Dallas 1-0, beat the Giants. Elliott looks like he'll be available for the whole year for Dallas. Of course, the Giants did not have Beckham, so that was a big loss for them. So Dallas handled the Giants in week 1. Denver hung on and beat San Diego. Denver was up big in this game, had to hang on for dear life. San Diego actually had a field goal block with no time left. The game would have went into overtime, so Denver escaped. Simeon looked good for a lot of this game. He did have one bad interception, but Simeon played pretty well. You can't ask for anything more from Simeon. He was doing some stuff scrambling. He was hitting the open receivers. I thought Simeon played well. Denver had a good running game. Their defense played well for a lot of this game, but then they almost collapsed at the end. As far as this game, I still have to see more from Simeon to make me a believer. I have to still see more from that Denver offense. Listen, the crowd is going to be going crazy. This is a big game. That Denver defense will be flying around. But I just trust Dallas a little more right now with Elliott in that backfield, that big offensive line. I just trust Dallas a little more. I don't trust Simeon still, so I'm going to go Dallas. I'll give up the 2. That's pick number 2. How about them Cowboys? Let's go to pick number 3. Let's go out to Seattle. Some of the best fans in all of sports, the Seattle Seahawks fans. That place is always rocking. The Seattle Seahawks are minus 12.5 against the Niners. Seattle lost to Green Bay, I'll tell you. Seattle's defense played great for a lot of this game. The offense did not do much at all, and you've seen that a lot from Seattle the last couple years on the road. The offense sputters. They've become a home-heavy team now, Seattle. They can't get much done on offense on the road. That's going to be a problem for Seattle. Their defense is always going to be there. They're always going to be good at home, but can they take their offense on the road? They did nothing against what we thought was going to be a suspect Green Bay secondary. Seattle couldn't get anything cooking, so they come back home here, the Niners. The Niners look like they're going to be dreadful again. They got pushed all over the field against Carolina. They got nothing done on offense. The Niners look like they're headed for another 2-14 season. I know the spread's high at 12.5. I got to go with the Hawks here. They're coming off a loss. They're home. The Niners look like they can't even score a point. I mean, they were dreadful against Carolina. I'll go with Seattle. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4, let's go down to Baltimore, where the Baltimore Ravens are minus 7.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Baltimore 1-0, shut out Cincinnati on the road. Baltimore always seems to come up with a team that can play defense. You know they always play hard. They're good at personnel, Baltimore. They look really good in week 1. Cleveland, 0-1, lost to Pittsburgh. I thought they played hard. Thought their defense gave them a chance to win. They only gave up 2 touchdowns to the Steelers on defense. I thought the Cleveland quarterback did some nice things. A lot of checkdowns kept them in the game. I mean, Cleveland only lost this game to Pittsburgh by 3. As far as this game, I'm going to move the line here. It's 7.5. I'm going to take Baltimore, make this 1.5, play Baltimore in one of my teasers. I can't see Cleveland going into Baltimore and actually winning the game, so I'll move the line and take the Ravens. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go to Carolina, where the Carolina Panthers are minus 7.5 against the Buffalo Bills. Both teams 1-0. Carolina, like I mentioned, just shut the door on the Niners out west. Buffalo beat the Jets. I wasn't too impressed with Buffalo, but they did get the win. I thought McCoy played well. Again, I'm going to move the line here at 7.5. Carolina's home. I'm going to make this 1.5 and take Carolina. I don't trust Buffalo all that much to go on the road. I think Carolina will be better this year than they won last year. So I'm going to take Carolina minus 1.5. I think they get it done over Buffalo at home. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go to Indianapolis. Oh my. Where the Arizona Cardinals are minus 7.5 against the Indianapolis Colts in what could be an awful football game. Arizona 0-1, got bombed in the fourth quarter by Detroit. Now they lost their running back for who knows how long. And Indianapolis set football back 5,000 years with their performance. I don't think Luck is going to play this week. If Luck doesn't play, the Colts are in all sorts of trouble. They got torched by the Rams of all teams last week, and that game was over early. That's hard to do, to get blown out that bad by the Rams, but the Colts did it. If Luck doesn't play, again, I'll move the line. I'll take Arizona minus 1.5 in Indy. I don't love Arizona all that much, and they got bombed in the fourth quarter by Detroit. They don't have their back. But how could you take the Colts without Luck after what you saw last week? Not me. I'll take Arizona. I'll move the line. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go to Steel City in Pittsburgh, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are minus 7 against the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be a good game. Pittsburgh 1-0, beat Cleveland. Again, Pittsburgh on the road did not impress me. Pittsburgh plays very well at home. They roll up like 42 points at home. You get them on the road, and they just stumble and bumble. They started the game off great, had a block punt for a touchdown. The offense bogged down a lot. Roethlisberger, an interception in the end zone. Bell looked like he was rusty. The offense just never clicks on the road like it does at home. So Pittsburgh, another sloppy road win. Minnesota 1-0, beat New Orleans pretty handily last night. Bradford looked good. The offensive line looked a lot better. The defense did some things. Minnesota should be better this year as well. This is probably going to be a good game. I know the spread's high at 7. Again, I'm going to move the line to 1. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. They're usually reliable at home. You got to think Pittsburgh will find a way to win a close game here. So I'll move the line to 1, take Pittsburgh, because I don't like going against the Steelers at home. I'm not going to take Minnesota on the road here, so I'll take Pittsburgh. I'll move that line to 1. I got a lot of teasers I'm playing here this week. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8, let's go out to Los Angeles, the Coliseum, where the LA Rams are minus 2.5 against the Washington Redskins. Rams 1-0 and just obliterated the Colts. Made them look silly. What a great win for the Rams. Goff actually looked good. They had that running game cooking. Defense played well. Rams did it all right. By the way, can the people out in Los Angeles show up to the Coliseum and support this team? You get the Rams and the Chargers. You know, you're going to have two teams. They're waiting for that new stadium to be built. Did you see the crowd at the Coliseum? There were so many empty seats out there. You got to get out there and support that team. I mean, come on. You got a team back in L.A. You got two teams back in L.A. I mean, how did they have all those empty seats already in Los Angeles? Get out there and support that team, Rams. I mean, get out there and support that team, L.A. Come on. Anyway, this game, Washington 0-1. Lost to Philadelphia. Typical Washington, typical Cousins. 4 turnovers. Cousins, as you know, they're down 2. They're driving. He throws a pick in the end zone. Then he fumbles the ball late. Cousins, 4 turnovers. Messing up plays all over the place. This is the guy that wants a long-term contract. This is the guy making $25 million a year. Cousins, let me break it to you. You're not Johnny Unitas. 4 turnovers. You cost your team the game last week single-handedly. The Redskins making mistakes all over the field. What a dreadful performance by Cousins, a $25 million man. I mean, they're down 2 points. You know, he throws a pick in the end zone. Then late they're down with a chance to win the game, and he fumbles the ball away. The Eagles run it back and seal the deal. What an awful, typical performance by Cousins, throwing all those picks in the red zone all the time. And that's Washington. That's Washington. They're going to be 8-8. Cousins is going to have one good game, one bad game. They're going to be up, down, up, down. It's typical Washington. Listen, I never thought I'd say it, but right now I trust the Rams more. They're home. They looked good last week. They looked together. I don't know what I'm getting from Washington and Cousins. I really don't. Could they win this game? Yeah, I could see Washington easily winning. I could see you taking Washington. I could see you taking them with 8.5. I'll take the Rams and give the 2.5 just based on last week. I thought the Rams were impressive, and I was so disgusted with Washington again and Cousins throwing all those picks. I mean, that's terrible football. That's pick number 8. Pick number 9. Let's go back out to Los Angeles for LA team number 2, the LA Chargers, who will be playing in the StubHub Center, which seats about 30,000 people. We'll see if it's a home field advantage for the Chargers, because when they played in San Diego, all the opposing fans gobbled up the tickets. So we'll see here if the Chargers actually have a home field advantage in a smaller venue as they wait for their new stadium. Chargers -4 against Miami. Miami, of course, has not played a game. Cutler, of course, quarterbacking because Tannehill's out for the year. I don't like that at all from a Miami standpoint. I am not a Cutler fan. Chargers 0-1, lost to Denver. Typical San Diego. Typical San Diego. They're down big. They rally back in a frenetic way, and then they find a way to mess up the game at the end. Typical Chargers. It happens year after year. They do stupid things all over the field. I saw a guy on the Chargers yesterday. They're down 24-7. They sacked the Denver quarterback, and the Charger guy is doing like a dance at down 24-7. Yeah, let's go down 24-7. Yeah, let's go. I mean, give me a break. You're doing a dance down 24-7. Then Allen, when they make it 24-14, Allen, who's a very good receiver, scores a touchdown pass. What does he do? Throws the ball at the Denver defender. Then he's on the sidelines laughing, and he's out there doing a dance with the crowd. He's doing this with the crowd. He's doing this. Down 24-14 after he just got a personal foul. Typical San Diego, LA, I should say. Typical Chargers. They have talent. They play better when they're like 20 points behind, but they'll always find a way to mess up the game. They drive you absolutely crazy. As far as this game, I'm going to try one more time with the Chargers because they did cover for me yesterday. I did take them in a teaser. Chargers -4 against Miami. Miami hasn't played a game. Chargers have, and the Chargers are home, and I don't like Cutler for that reason alone. I will take the Chargers here. I mean, the Chargers can burn you at any time, but Miami hasn't played a game. I don't like Cutler. Chargers, I think, will have more of a home field advantage this year. I'll take the Chargers -4. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go down to Tampa Bay, where the Tampa Bay Bucks are -5.5 against the Chicago Bears. Tampa Bay, of course, didn't play either because of the hurricane situation. By the way, we're thinking of everyone down there in Florida, down there in Houston, Mexico, the Caribbean out west with the wildfires. We're thinking of all you guys. Hope you guys hang in there. Keep your chin up. Tampa Bay -5.5 against Chicago in Tampa. Chicago 0-1. They played a very decent game against Atlanta. They were a hair away of pulling that game out. They had 4 cracks at the end zone at the end. Dropped the pass in the end zone. Atlanta, I thought, got away with a foul in the end zone as well. Chicago could have very easily beaten Atlanta, but as usual, good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose, and the Bears do this all the time. They sometimes get close, but they can never get over the hump. I'm going to go with Tampa here just because I can't trust Chicago. They always find a way to lose, and I think Tampa will be an improved team. I like the wideouts. I like the quarterback. I think Tampa could be a good team this year. Don't trust Chicago. I will take Tampa -5.5. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11. This could be a really good game. Let's go to Arrowhead in Kansas City. One of my favorite stadiums in all of the NFL. Can you smell that barbecue already? They got that barbecue already cooking on a Tuesday for a Sunday game. I can smell it already. Kansas City Chiefs -4.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Kansas City was very impressive in Week 1. Beat the New England Patriots up in Foxborough, which is not easy to do. Alex Smith never played better, making plays all over the field. They did lose Berry for the year. That is a big loss. Philadelphia, nice way to start the year for them. Beat Washington on the road. Philadelphia back on the road now. I like Wentz as a quarterback. I think Wentz will be very good. Very tough game here. Being the game's in Kansas City had a couple more days to prepare, and Philly back-to-back road games, asking a lot to win both of them. I'm going to take Kansas City in the money line here. Make the spread even. Take them in the money line. Chiefs, in a good game, I think they pull it out. I like Kansas City. Pick number 11. Pick number 12. Let's go down to the Big Easy, New Orleans, the Superdome, where the New England Patriots are -4.5 against the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans 0-1, looked terrible in Minnesota yesterday. Looked absolutely awful. Drew Brees getting up there. You never know what you're getting from the Saints, and a lot of the time you get some bad stuff from the Saints, and you got it last night. That was an atrocious performance. They did not play well at all. New England 0-1, lost to Kansas City. Like I told you last week, New England's got a lot of holes right now. Lost Edelman. A lot of guys left the game last week with injuries. A lot of holes on defense. But you know Belichick is going to find a way to plug this eventually. You can't write off New England after one game. We've done it before. We've been burned before. We thought Brady was getting old 5 years ago. New England is going to find a way to plug in these holes, and they got an opponent here that I think they can handle. Again, I'll take New England in the money line. I also probably like the over in this game. I think I could see 100 points being scored in this game. I have to go with New England. I trust them more than New Orleans. New England, that's pick number 12. Pick number 13. Real great game here. The Atlanta Falcons at home, -2.5 against the Green Bay Packers. In Atlanta's new stadium, which I hear could be the best in all of the NFL. Retractable dome. And please, you know how I feel about those retractable domes? Keep that roof open. Football is made to be played outdoors. Atlanta 2.5 against Green Bay. Atlanta hung on to beat Chicago, and they hung on. Did not like the way Atlanta's defense played for the fourth quarter of this game. They were letting Chicago, as Hank Stram would say, matriculate down the field. Duncan. Atlanta was giving them all these plays underneath. It was driving me crazy after a while. They did make the stand at the end. Got a little lucky. Chicago dropped the pass in the end zone. I thought Atlanta got away with a pass interference. Give them credit, though. They hung in there, pulled out the win. Green Bay looked really good at home against Seattle. The defense played really well. You know Rodgers is going to be there for you. These two teams played twice last year in Atlanta. Atlanta beat them twice, including the playoff game where they handled them pretty easily. Very, very tough game. Very tough game, must-watch game. Like both teams contenders. Being it's the new stadium, and Atlanta didn't play all that well, I think they're going to be all riled up for this game. Want to break in that new stadium. Spread's only 2.5. I think Atlanta's going to get some things done on offense this week, and I think they're going to expose that Green Bay defense. Seattle couldn't do it, but I think Atlanta will do it. I think this is a high-scoring shootout, but Atlanta clips Green Bay by like maybe 3-4 points. Listen, if you like Green Bay, I couldn't argue with you. If you like Green Bay with the 8.5, couldn't argue with you. It's that close a game. I'm going to go with the Falcons. They beat Green Bay twice last year. They're home, new stadium. I think they'll play better than last week. I like Atlanta. That's pick number 13. Pick number 14. Let's go to New York. The Meadowlands not too far from here, where the New York Giants are -5 against the Detroit Lions. Detroit 1-0. Detroit did what they did all of last year. They came back in the fourth quarter, buried Arizona. Giants 0-1, didn't look good at all against Dallas, but no Beckham. Is Beckham going to get on the field this week? If Beckham plays, I will take the Giants in the money line. If he doesn't, I may throw out this game altogether. And you know if he doesn't play, the spread's going to go all over the place. So to me, it all depends on Beckham. Giants need him in the worst way. I mean, without him, the Giants have no chance. The Giant defense is good. They did all they could last week. They had no offense whatsoever. And Beckham is the guy that stirs the drink. He's the straw that stirs the drink. Has to be out there. I will look for Beckham to be on the field. I'll take Giants in the money line if he's on the field. That's pick number 14. Pick number 15. It's a very interesting game. The Tennessee Titans, -1.5 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee lost to Oakland. I was not all that impressed with Tennessee last week, but Oakland is a very, very good team. How about Jacksonville last week? Jacksonville 1-0 and just laid it on Houston. They had 10 sacks and forced 4 turnovers. They gobbled Houston up. They beat Houston up. They buried Houston. Love the new running back for Jacksonville. I'm still going to have to see more from the Jacksonville quarterback. He wasn't asked to do a whole heck of a lot last week, but he's going to have to play better in the upcoming weeks. You can't expect your defense to have that type of performance week in and week out, but they do now have that good running game to lean on. Tennessee, 1.5 point favorite here. I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to move the line to 7.5 and take Jacksonville. I'll get the 7.5. I'll get the home field. I think this is a very interesting game. I could see a scenario that at the end of this week, Houston, Tennessee, and Indianapolis are all 0-2, and Jacksonville could be 2-0. That would be a story. I could see a scenario where that happens. I could definitely see Tennessee winning this game, though, and I do like Jacksonville, though, at home getting 7.5. So I will move that line to 7.5 there. That's pick number 15. Pick number 16, the last pick. Listen, this Thursday night game could be one of the worst Thursday night games ever. Cincinnati at home, -5 against Houston. Cincinnati was shut out by Baltimore. I mean, how many chances are Lewis and Dalton going to have? It may be time for both of them to go. And Houston, I said the Colts set football back 5,000 years. Houston set football back about 10,000 years. Did you see the performance by the Houston Texans? The offensive line is atrocious. Injuries to all their tight ends. They got holdouts on the offensive line. The Houston quarterback, Savage, was awful. I mean, as bad as he can play. Houston had 4 turnovers and gave up 10 sacks. Is that even possible? You give up 10 sacks in one game? They were dismantled at home by Jacksonville. They were embarrassing. They had to go to the rookie Watson. Now you're on a short week. You got Watson, a rookie, bad offensive line, injuries on the offensive line, injuries to tight ends, holdouts on the offensive lines. You got a short week. You go to Cincinnati. The Bengals, I mean, are they going to show me any sort of pride here? I may just toss this game out completely. If I had to pick the game straight up, I'll go Cincinnati money line just because I like those home teams on Thursday night. This is an awful football game. And here's another thing. These Thursday night games can go. They can go. I talked about this all last week. Do you realize what they're doing here to Houston? Houston played on Sunday. They have now a rookie quarterback. They basically have one day to rest Monday. They have to get the game plan ready for the rookie quarterback Tuesday. You have to travel Wednesday, and you're in a game on the road on Thursday. These Thursday games are a joke. And how is Cincinnati home on Thursday when they were just home on Sunday? At least make Cincinnati on the road the week before. Too much of an advantage to the home team here. The Bengals were home, now they're home again. You're making Houston travel to Cincinnati. These Thursday games are a waste of time. The football is choppy. I hope in the next collective bargaining agreement they vote these Thursday games out. I can't stand any of the Thursday games with the exception of maybe the Thanksgiving games because of the tradition with Dallas and Detroit. I can even get rid of the Thursday night Thanksgiving game. I can get rid of the Thursday opening game, but I'll live with that. But these Thursday regular season games are awful. It's bad football. I tried to come up with a way where you could use the bye weeks to make better football. Very hard to do. Do away with Thursday night football. It's terrible. Cincinnati, Houston on Thursday night football. Houston has to travel to Cincinnati on a short week. That's terrible. Terrible job by the NFL doing these Thursday night games. Get rid of them. I don't need football every night of the week. College football tries to do this with me where they play games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The only reason they're playing on Thursday is because the NFL wants to control another night of the week. They're not worried about the players. They're not worried about injuries. And they're not worried about quality of play. The NFL wants to control another day of the week. I don't like Thursday night football. This game is awful. Do away with it. If I had a pick, I'll go with Bengals. I'm probably going to throw that game out. So that is your NFL for week number 2. Good week 1 for me. I was 5-1 straight up. I had Dallas, Green Bay, the Rams, Carolina, and Minnesota. Lost with Houston. 4-2 in the teasers. I lost with New England in the over. I had Atlanta and Pittsburgh. That was my best bet. I made a lot of money on that. I had Oakland, Detroit. I had San Diego, Baltimore. I had Buffalo on the under. I lost with Washington and Atlanta. So 9-3 overall. By the way, and I always tell you this. If you like a spread early in the week and you see it, grab it. I did that last week. The Steelers opened up as an 8.5-point favorite. I made it 2.5 with the teaser. I grabbed it right away, fearing it might go up. Sure enough, it did go up, but I was able to get that 8.5 down to 2.5. If the spread went to 9.5, I probably wouldn't have taken the game, and if I did, I would have lost. You like a spread early, grab it, and vice versa. If you don't like a spread, wait till later in the week. It may change in your favor, but if you like a spread, grab it early. You got to grab those spreads early because that Steelers spread, I told you I loved it at 8.5. Would not have loved it at 9.5. I try and get off those 3-point numbers. So same thing with Buffalo. Buffalo was 9. They went down. Then I grabbed it. Grab the spread when it works for you. So that's my advice for you guys. As far as the college football, nice win by Oklahoma last week at Ohio State. Georgia went into Notre Dame and won with the backup quarterback. How about Notre Dame? They're just awful, and the coach just making himself look really ridiculous. Notre Dame, what happened to you? Clemson beat Auburn, and USC beat Stanford. As far as this week, there's not too many big games. Louisville's home for Clemson. That's the game day game. That's what game day will be. That's the big game of the week. Other than that, you don't got much. Florida, Tennessee, LSU, Mississippi State. Not much. I'm not going to make any picks because I had 3 games I was looking at. All 3 have been canceled because of the hurricane, including Florida State and Miami. So we'll have to wait till next week to get going with the college football. A lot of the games I liked were canceled. Not a great week in college football, though. Other than Louisville, Clemson, not a great week. As far as Major League Baseball, what's going on with the Dodgers? Are the Dodgers ever going to win another game? They've lost 11 in a row. They've fallen completely apart. They couldn't lose a game, for like the first 5 months of the season. Now they can't win a game, and they're not even competitive in a lot of these games. The Dodgers are in a free fall. To me, there's a better chance now the Dodgers losing in the first round than winning the World Series. To me, out of all the playoff teams, I don't like the way the Dodgers are playing at all. Pitching hasn't been good. Hitting hasn't been good. They are a mess right now. I don't think they're going to get their swagger back. I'm really concerned about the Dodgers. American League wild card, still have a great race there. Looks like the Yankees will be that top wild card spot, but then after that, Minnesota Angels, a lot of other teams fighting. So that's your baseball as coming down the home stretch there. U.S. Open, what else is new on the men's side? Nadal won. Either Nadal or Federer wins every tournament, still at their advanced age. As I always say, where are the young stars in men's tennis? Women's tennis, Sloane Stephens wins. Congratulations to her. She wins her first major. It was an all-USA Final Four in the U.S. Open, so good to see that. Sloane Stephens, much deserved, played some really good tennis. So there you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. You have my picks for week number 2 in the NFL after a very good start to week number 1. I will be back with you each and every Tuesday. We'll do our picks. We'll go over everything else in the sports world. You guys, thanks so much for all the messages last week. Great to be back with you guys. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care.